Hello, everyone, and welcome to SoftCloud's webinar today to discuss transforming your customer service agents into revenue sources. I am Brian Friedman, GVP of Sales with SoftClouds, and joining me today is our CEO, Bala Ramachandran. When you came into the webinar, you've all been placed on mute. If you have any questions as we go through the presentation, please use the chat feature and we will try to get to as many of the questions during the course of the webinar as we're able to. Quick introduction about SoftClouds. We are based in San Diego, California, founded in 2005 by Bala Ramachandran. And we have 3 other locations, 2 development centers located in India and a sales office located in Tokyo, Japan. Our primary market is majors and enterprise customers, and we are a proud Oracle Platinum partner and have been for a number of years. When we look at the service business, we see an industry that's growing rapidly. And what we want to talk to you about today is really how the growth of service in the service industry is affected by customer reactions, and also the ways in which companies can use their service departments to grow and increase revenue in the interactions with their customers. So when you look at the global home services market, in 2018, that was valued at about $281 billion. And it's expected to grow to about $1.1 trillion by 2026. The field service industry is growing also. It's projected to be about $4.45 billion next year by 2022. And we also are seeing a significant growth in the number of IoT devices. By 2025, there's projected to be 55 billion IoT or connected devices in the world, up from 9 billion in 2017. When we look at how companies are investing in this, we see that there's about $641 billion that will be spent on CX or customer service technologies in 2022, up from about $130 billion in 2019. So when we see this rapid growth in the service industry, we also see there's a significant opportunity for revenue generation. And if we look at the revenue loss as a result of the inability or lack of access to selling tools, we see that there's about 42% of revenue lost every year because of service inefficiencies. And one of the biggest things that we find is that 32% of customers will stop doing business with a brand after only one bad experience. So the old saying, you only have one opportunity to make a good impression, is very true. If you find a situation where you're not properly servicing a customer, that's a lost revenue opportunity, and it's an ongoing lost revenue opportunity. We also find that service technicians feel that they don't have all the information they need. 38% of those service technicians claim that they can't access all the information and data that they need. 87% of executives say that it's difficult to juggle disconnected or different applications or tools. And finally, and where we're really going to focus our attention in this presentation, 45% of the field technicians say that the current tools that they have are not fast enough to enable them to do their job properly. So the world of customer service is changing, and it's changing rapidly. And it's changing in a way that causes organizations to view how they're doing business and evolve how they're doing business. So there's the technology disruptors. Those are the ones who create new opportunities for companies to evolve customer service as a competitive differentiator. And when there's information and connectivity that's changing all the time, it generates these new possibilities for customers to drive companies to drive customer satisfaction. And as a result, customer service is quickly evolving from a traditional cost center to a powerful customer loyalty enabler and a revenue generation opportunity. So when we look at the field service landscape, there's really 4 different categories of individuals who touch a service opportunity. There's the customer who makes a request for a new installation or reports an issue related to an existing asset or product on site. The call center agent then handles the inbound case, creates a work order, and books an appointment. This is the first touch point where there's an opportunity to generate revenue and create a better customer experience. The next step is the dispatcher creates the job, assigns that to the mobile resource, assigns the resources in a way that will best have the individual who should handle the call, as well as the job scheduling so that there's efficiency in routing. And finally, that dispatcher supports the technicians when they're in the field. And then the field technician or the mobile employee obtains the work order, manages and updates the job progress, and performs the work and service reports. This is the second opportunity that a company has to improve that customer experience and to create new revenue opportunities. So when we look at the transformational stages of field service, we really have 4 different stages. We've got reactive, which is when there's a problem. The customer calls that problem into the dispatcher. Something's broken, something needs to be fixed, something needs attention. And so stage 1 is reactive. The second stage is if there's a planned service, and this is planned preventative maintenance, scheduled maintenance, any number of things where there's a regular schedule for a field service technician to go out and perform service. Proactive is a situation where we eliminate issues before they're reported by the customer. And this is a lot of the instances where these IoT devices come into play. If the device is being monitored, then that device lets the dispatcher or the service center know that there's something going wrong. And the dispatcher or the service center has the opportunity to proactively send someone out to fix it, or in some instances, being able to remotely fix a product or a problem. And the predictive issue, number 4, are those instances where through forecasting, analytics, and artificial intelligence, they're able to have remote field service technicians evaluate a product and identify instances where something is about to go wrong. So when we look at service transformation, we see challenges and opportunities. In the challenges for loss of service revenue, we need to find ways that the field technicians and the service department itself can create new revenue opportunities and take advantage of that. And so the opportunity there is to reduce costs, as well as to be able to generate new revenue opportunities. In the cost of noncompliance, and what we're talking about here is regulatory instances, times when certain reporting needs to be done or different types of certifications need to take place. We need to find a way for companies to comply and for the service to be deflected and to provide preventative and self-service opportunities. A challenge, again, is an aging workforce and manpower shortages. And so when we do that, we find that technology, IoT, artificial intelligence, other forms of technology are able to deflect some of those challenges and provide an opportunity for better service. And finally, the ever-evolving technologies allows us to move from a legacy service model to futuristic service models that are smart, that are revenue generating, proactive, and provide that type of customer service that we're talking about, that keep the customer happy and generate new revenue opportunities. So when we're looking at enablement with innovative technology, we're looking at new customer service platforms that are able to manage cases, manage work orders, create automated workflows and communications. We're looking at knowledge management that has all of this information available throughout the issue to resolution process that gives the customer as well as the service technicians, the information that they need to be able to properly resolve a customer's problems. With AI and data analytics platforms, we can provide the next best actions and look at what is predictive, what are the types of things that could be done to properly service a customer's request based on other types of opportunities, other things that have happened in the past. IoT technology, as we've talked about, allows us to gather and analyze data from different platforms so that we can automatically create cases, find where there are faults, where there are alerts, and take proactive steps to make sure that things are handled properly. And finally, adaptive intelligence and personalized experiences. This is where we can give that ultimate customer service, ultimate experience, so that these technologies help to provide the best service for the customer and the best result for that customer so they remain satisfied. So I'm going to stop sharing here and turn this over to Bala for the next part of our presentation.
Thank you, Brian. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so far we have seen the lot of facts and figures and trends about the field service industry in general. And also we went through the transformational service needs for the field service industry. And also Brian talked about the challenges and the opportunities in this industry. And what it sets is the stage for the second portion of this presentation is that it is evident that you need, or the industry needs, a robust solution or a product or an application that not only takes care of the basic field service operation, but it should provide an connected end-to-end operation, not only for the field service, from the sales to service to field service and also to the back office. So that's where the Oracle Field Service sits very in a very good spot for this experience economy, because it's not only provided, it's not just one-dimensional application like any other competitors of Oracle is providing just the field service. So as you can see in this diagram, it provides the connected experience and connected solution to the needs of today's and modern industry and even tomorrow's industry needs. So the field service application can get the data from multiple sources, as you can see in the bottom, like IoT or AI or any kind of another source systems. And it can take the data and process it and make sure that the field technician is having all the information that needed at hand during the field service. And also it can be integrated with any of the front office CX applications or the back office applications. And also it can be tightly integrated with the middle office tool called CPQ. So I'm going to show you the demo of how well a field service application, Oracle Field Service, can be tightly integrated with the CPQ application. So in our definition, the field service should have 4 major components or 4 major modules or features and functions. As we all know, of course, the work order management, which gets the information from your CRM system or service system, let's say Oracle Service Cloud or any service case management system, where the customer's initial entry point is. So the case is created from there. Automatically the work order can be created in the Field Service Cloud application, and the work order management is the initial portion of field service application. And once the work order is created, automatically through intelligence applied scheduling and dispatching technology should be there in the Field Service Cloud application. That is the second important part of the product. And then the third one is quoting and invoicing. So on the day of the service, when the technician is visiting the customer, in order to provide not only the fixed related services and also any additional services that he can offer, you need to have a proper quoting and invoicing tool. So when I say invoicing, traditionally the field service industry goes with an invoicing for the planned service. But with this connected application and connected experience of the Oracle CX platform, you can leverage the quoting module or coding experience for upsell and cross-sell related activities also. So unless you have this connected application given at the hands of the field technician, you cannot achieve that one. And that's where we have, Brian showed some of the statistics where the revenue leakage is happening. So the customer is already bought a product A, and then technician is fixing that product. And he knew that, he definitely, he can sell or upsell, cross-sell, or there is an interest from the customer to sell more additional product B or C or D. Unless the technician is having the capacity and capability with the needed tools, he is not going to take care of that business opportunity right then and there. And definitely there is an opportunity for revenue leakage to a lot of field service based industries. So that is the very key component of this, our understanding or definition of field service. So the quoting can be expanded for cross-sell and upsell opportunities also. And of course, the last but not least, in the crew, timing, inventory, and fleet management, all those, the bells and whistles of field service cloud is the fourth component of the field service. This is our definition and our understanding, and that's why we feel the coding and invoicing can be explored to a lot of upsell and cross-sell related opportunities, so that the field technician doesn't need to perform a one-dimensional bug fixing role, and he can be a salesperson for a company. So for that, we have come up with a use case called service to cash demo flow. So we have heard about lead to cash, quote to cash, and all these things. Why not a service to cash? Because that's what your technician supposed to do. Because in my view, every employee of any company is a salesperson. Doesn't need to be only the sales reps or sales supposed to do sales. So since a service person knows your product very well, and he knows your customer very well, and he is getting the face time with the customer, and he can be the best person to do some additional upsell and cross-sell opportunities. So I'm going to take an example of, almost all of us experience in the last 10 to 12 months, which is our internet being slow and we calling an internet service provider to come and fix our problem. So let's take that example and see how a telecommunication company technician can upsell and cross-sell a product to the customer. So in this example, Kathy is the customer and who feels that there is a problem with the internet slowness, and then he calls the internet service provider and asks for a service or support. So Julie, the dispatcher, takes the work order and creates the work order in the system. And then based on the intelligent assignment, Victor is the field technician, is picked by the system based on the product familiarity and as well as the location and skill and all these variety of attributes. Victor is selected as a field technician for this job. And then he will go to on the day of the service, he goes and visits the customers and he reviews the existing assets of the customer, what he is having, what Kathy is having or installed at her location to understand the problem. And then he looks for an opportunity to upsell and cross-sell. He identifies one, and then he creates the quotation using Oracle CPQ Cloud in order to make her experience better and as well as make some upsell and cross-sell for his company. And then he completes the work order. Not only he completes the work order of fixing the problem, and also he takes care of selling more to Kathy. Okay. So this is a scenario that we are talking about, service to cash, where a service technician can easily bring more revenue to the company. So I'm going to show this demo to you now. So let's go. I'm not going to show the dispatch part of it because that can be a whole new webinar for field service capabilities. Today's webinar is mostly concentrating on how these two systems can work together seamlessly and how it can be integrated and provide needed tools to the technician for upsell and cross-sell. Let's say, and as usual, the technician logs into the technician portal of Oracle Field Service Cloud, and then he goes and sees his route for the given day, and he got 3 appointments and A, B, and C, and then he looks into all these things. Okay, now we need to take care of these 3, and looks like all 3 customers are in 3 different directions, and the modern map integration of this tool provides the best path for serving the customers and things like that. So once he comes in and then ready to start his day, he's going to activate his all this queue, and then he's going to start his work on this particular queue that he needs to work on. So once he takes this particular task and this field service cloud displays the service information, what is the type of the problem, who is the customer, where he is located, and all this information. It's the basic flow of field service cloud. And of course, he can go and see what type of inventory that he is having in hand in order to get this job done. And so many other basic field service cloud functionalities are available, which I'm not going to talk today. But let's say that, he spoke to Kathy, and then Kathy is recently upgraded her internet to 1 gigabyte service, but still Kathy is not getting the needed speed, because then that's the reason she called the technician to fix that problem. And then he looks into the modem that Kathy is having, even though she purchased or she upgraded her service to 1 gigabyte, and he is having the modem that is supporting only 200 Mbps. So now what Victor is saying that, you have a better service, but you do not have an equipment to support that service. You may have to replace your modem. And if you want, you can replace by yourself. But if you are interested, I do have it with me, and I can get that one service today. I can set it up so that you can get the better service for the upgraded plan, what you have with us. And Kathy says, yes, let's go ahead and do that one. What it will take? You want me to call your sales to get that one? And then Victor says, nope, you don't need to have another call. I'm going to take care of it right now. And if you can give me a few minutes. So he goes to the system and then clicks the button called create code here. When he creates the code, it automatically takes him to the CPQ application, and which will be single sign-on in this case. And then what it takes is basically Victor can see the amount of what kind of asset Kathy is having with his company. So he sees that, a broadband subscription is already in place. So this is the concept of asset-based ordering in CPQ comes into the picture. So it is very, very useful for the field technician. A field technician can see all the assets already purchased by the customer through this integration, and he can see this one. And then all he needs to do is he needs to select and modify the asset. So what he is seeing is in the next screen that we are going to see, Kathy is having the lower end of the modem, which is only 8x2. But what he needs is basically the system automatically recommends that Kathy needs Netgear 32x8 DOCSIS 3.0 version of the modem is what preferred for the kind of upgraded service he signed up for. So now the technician automatically selects that one. So it's all the recommendation rules and things like that are part of the CPQ system, very, very, very effective system that can be configured so that your technician doesn't need to understand or do all the basic needs of the typical sales rep supposed to have. The system can be configured in such a way that it can make their life very easier. So he selects the right product, and then he says that, okay, let's go and create this transaction. When he creates the transaction, it gives him an option to perform some additional operations in the CPQ application, where he can see all the customer information and things like that. And he sees, there is the older version of 8x2 is here. And then the new one is basically added into the quotation, which is $199 and things like that. Now, in addition to selling this one, he can even offer, based on the training and things like that, some additional discounts and things like that in order to make this sale happen. If needed, he can give some additional discount. For example, he can give, let's say that, Victor really likes the customer and he wanted to give 25% discount for this particular customer. And then when he does that one, enters the 25% discount, and then submits the quotation. So now the system can pop up some validation rules for the discount. Looks like there is an approval needed for 25% discount. And then he can submit for that request while he is there at with the customer. And then he can say that please approve because the customer wants to buy this one if we have this discount and things like that. He can submit the discount request, which can be immediately system sends a notification to the respective sales manager for the approval. The sales manager will get a notification in an email. He can approve from the email itself, or he can log into the system and see the customer information and the customer loyalty points and things like that. He can come back and say that, yes, it is approved, and then he can approve the particular transaction during the visit of the technician. So now, not only he upsell the device to the customer, and also he provided some needed discounts and things like that. And then there are a whole new topic called pricing score and things like that, which we can go in deeper demo in the coming webinar series about how a CPQ can be an effective tool and what other things a technician can do. But in our understanding and our philosophy is that we have to keep the CPQ piece to the bare minimum and more effective and easy for the technician so that he can just add products and upsell and cross-sell and get the job done. And in this case, Victor added this one, and he submitted this new code. And also, as part of the process, he can even generate the proposal and email it to the customer right then and there, so that the customer can cannot dispute in the future that, okay, I did not ask for this and things like that for any compliance related use cases. The system can generate the quotation, and it can be integrated with DocuSign or any other systems in case if there is an use case for that one. Otherwise, it can be simply sent, and an email can be sent for the quotation. And once everything is done, and Victor can say that, okay, I already completed and I fulfilled this order. When he clicks on the fulfills the order button, and it will take him back to the work order that he was working on for this particular case, back to Oracle Field Service Cloud. And then he can complete the work, and he can move on to the next appointment that he has to provide for the day. So that is the end-to-end use case of using Oracle CPQ Cloud and integrating that with the Oracle Field Service Cloud, so that you can make your service technician also a sales rep to provide some upsell and cross-sell related revenue generation. Okay. So with that, I'll get back to my demo. Get back to my presentation. So you saw this very, very simple everyday life use case. And this particular use case can be applied to many industries, right? Telco and communication is the one major thing that we all are connected with in our day-to-day life. And so is the home automation. You saw in the initial slides of this presentation how the home automation industry is growing. And same case with the appliance and hardware repair maintenance, whether it's a B2B or B2C, the same concept can be applied, the same use case can be applied, and so is for the energy and utility industries. So we just named only a few of them, but this use case is pretty broad, and it can be used in many industries. So with that, I just wanted to conclude my presentation with the kind of service automation offerings that we provide at SoftClouds. And we provide some service strategic services and initiation for the field service, digitalization, and also the business process definition and identifying and fitting in the industry specific business process for individual organizations, because we understand that even though the processes are same, it can vary by industry and even vary by companies within the industry. So the business process, defining the business process for a specific company is very important for the success of this digital transformation, and that's what we do. And also we provide the enablement of digital transformation tools such as CPQ and Oracle Field Service Cloud and any other tools that Oracle provides. And also we provide some performance related analytics setup and tracking and things like that. So that's what we have today for this presentation. And thank you very much for joining. And I would like to pass it back to Brian for any Q&A.
Thank you, Bala. We do not have any questions yet in the chat. We'll wait just a moment. If anyone does have any questions on the presentation or the demo, please feel free to submit them through the chat window. And just so you also know, this is the first in a series of webinars that we'll be doing on various applications and Oracle products that we support. In 2 weeks, we'll be doing another demonstration that will focus more on CPQ and how we have implemented a very modern CPQ implementation for a company in the communications industry. So you will be seeing some information on that coming up in the future. So we do have a question, Bala. It says, seems this could be applicable to virtually any industry that has field service folks. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. Yes, because as you said, field service technician can wear the sales rep hat during the field service event. Definitely it can be applicable to many industries or all industries that field service cloud is implemented.
Okay. The next question we have, in a default implementation, how does the billing work? By the user or the solution, or what is the best way to handle the billing portion?
Not sure what you mean by billing. So if you are, if it is related to the licensing, then it will go by the, both options are available. CPQ provides the licensed model and as well as the portal model. And it can be addressed in either case, depending on the use case.
Okay. Next, on average, what should one expect to see in terms of revenue generated per technician in the cable, telco, broadband industry within the first year?
I would say, again, it all depends on how many different products and services a company is offering. From the telco point of view, definitely from the field service, we have seen, there are some use cases that are available from Oracle's implementation of Field Service Cloud to a couple of other companies. Definitely, we have seen a significant amount of increase in revenue. I don't have the exact one, but we can share that one from these use cases.
Okay, great. I don't see any other questions coming in yet. If there are no other questions, we'd like to thank you all for your time today, and we will be sending out a link to the recording of this webinar, as well as our contact information, should you desire to contact us and talk further about these solutions or any other services that SoftClouds provides. Thank you very much for attending. Have a wonderful day, and we hope to see you in 2 weeks for our next webinar. Thank you.